Hey, so I did this amazing video, like amazing video the other day. And I waited a day and a half for it to load, and it finally loaded, and I got banned and blocked, and it was only letting me view it as private, which means only I could see it, which isn't going to help anybody. So I had to rewatch it. Obviously, I can't reconvey the emotions that I was having in that video, but because I mean, obviously, it was filmed at the time. But this is all about marriage and about what marriage means to you. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because I didn't know stuff back in the day that I know now. So if I can share and help people, that's what I want to do. So I tried to make as many points and remember as many points as I could from the previous video that I'm going to share with you now. Basically, marriage is or can be difficult, okay? Obviously, you know it takes two people. It takes two people to make it work. But what do you do when you're in the marriage and one of them, people doesn't want to work? From my personal experience, what happened was I wanted to work on things. And by the time my ex finally came around, it was too late. Like I tried for years, right? And I just got tired of waiting, tired of being the only one that trying, tired of being the one doing everything. Like it was just honestly, utterly exhausting. So it was interesting because, you know, there's different shows, which obviously I can't mention now because I think that's one of the reasons why I got blocked. I'm not sure. But in watching one of the shows, because after that, right, I was kind of like traumatized after divorce, and I was like, oh my God, like marriage was the worst thing ever, and, you know, thinking like, why did I do this, and why did I want this, and blah, 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 blah. And it was funny because I was watching the show, and in the show, a guy was having the same issue, and he's like, I never want to get married because the first marriage was so bad and marriage sucks and this and that. And his mom said to him, it's not marriage that sucks. You married the wrong person. That's what really sucks. And I was like, holy shit. Like it was something so simple, but yet so poignant. Because I was like, oh my God, I've been hating on the Institute of Marriage, where the Institute of Marriage can be beautiful if you've married the right person, right? And I've learned a lot, not only from my marriage, but a recent relationship after that, really about love languages. And the funny thing is I didn't even know love languages was a thing. I thought I created the concept, honestly. And I'm talking about after months and months of going through my mind and this and that. I showed up at a friend's place and I go, you know what? Like, I needed this to feel loved and this to feel loved, and he couldn't do that and blah, blah, blah. And my friend goes, you mean like the 5 love languages? I'm like, the fuck? What you talking about? He goes, yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, get the hell out of here. I'm like, do you know how long I've tormented myself over months and months of thinking about this, trying to understand the concept, and you're telling me I could have just read a book? So anyways, I just tie that into like love languages. People, not only you knowing your own love language and what you need, but also expressing that to the other person, but also knowing what their love language is and knowing what they need, and knowing ahead of time if that's something that you're willing to do, okay? I mean, I know all of the movies, they romanticize it, and, you know, they show us this, in my opinion, unrealistic, usually, thing of how marriage is supposed to be. It's supposed to be perfect, it's supposed to be rosy, it's supposed to be this, it's supposed to be that, you never fight, and everything's fucking great. Well, you know what? I would like to meet those people who have those relationships. And if there are people like that, here, cheers. Cheers to you. Fucking A. It must be great. It also must be boring sometimes because you never fight, so you never have makeup sex. But anyway, excuse me. I think the important thing is that there are going to be fights because you guys come from different backgrounds. You have different traumas. You have things that you will disagree on. And the thing is how you get through that fight and how you work together and how you resolve it and what comes about from that. Like I used to think, oh my God, okay, well, we've had a fight in any given relationship, right? I was like, oh my God, we have a fight. And it's always your first fight that changes what seems to be like the dynamics of the relationship, right? And I wasn't mature enough or experienced enough to know or to think that fights are going to happen. Because of course I'm watching these movies, and in these movies nobody fights, and you know, it's all rosy and rom-coms and this and that, right? So like that's what I'm expecting, and that's what I'm thinking, because I didn't see that with my parents. I saw fighting, I saw divorce, I saw misery. The whole thing was a shit show. So what do I know? And of course, I'm not close to either one of them, so I couldn't really discuss that with him. So, yeah, it's about how you get through the fights. But the other part of this show that was on the other day that I found poignant was the girl, like, it was a daughter, and she was saying, well, at least they're still arguing. And like, oh my God, it's happening again. Getting a little bit emotional. Because the point of that being is that when there's nothing left to fight for, there's no more arguing. It's just done. Like, it's just done. And, you know, like, I understand that some people are happy when they get divorced and all of that stuff. But for me, it's hard to see all of what you were working for is gone, you know. It's hard to see that all your future, your dreams, everything like that's destroyed. It's hard. And you know what? You talk yourself out of it or whatever. You kind of try and see the other side of the road, like that, you know, you're no longer with this person. You're no longer having that fight or whatever. But to be honest, when the paperwork is finally done, it does still hit you differently. It's almost like a ton of bricks hits you because you're like, you're going through the process. For me, it seemed never ending. It was years. You're going through the process. You're still fucking arguing and this and that. And then the day that it's done, it's like, oh my, it hits you. At least it did me. Like maybe, you know, maybe that's not your case. Let's hope it's not. Maybe that's just me. But the main point of this is that I wanted to make everybody aware too that literally the human psyche, men and women, okay, the human psyche has a perception of marriage. And it's not only the perception of marriage, it's each person has belief systems, whether you know you have them or not, subconsciously, about how marriage should be and expectations, etc. But what I'm telling you is that the human psyche literally flips a switch in your brain once the papers are signed. Okay, so some people do change once the papers are signed. They do change. Now that unfortunately was my experience. It was that we had a relationship, and then as soon as the papers were signed, he changed. Really changed. Like it was almost like night and day. Who is this person? I'm sure I changed a bit. I don't know if I actually changed a bit. I think more I had now expectations of what I thought I should be doing. So the main question that I challenge you to ask yourself, ask your partner, discuss this together, is what marriage actually means to you. Because women will think that they need to do ABC to be the perfect wife, and their husband might be thinking she needs to do XYZ to be the perfect wife. And vice versa, obviously. But have that conversation. What does marriage mean to you? What is your expectation? Because maybe with your husband, your future husband, your fiance, whatever you call him, maybe he thinks that when he gets married, things are supposed to be like his mom and dad. Like maybe his mom was a stay-at-home mom. Maybe his mom cooked all the meals and the dad went to work, like an old traditional family. And maybe you think, no, my parents weren't like that. My mom went to work and my dad went to work and we both worked together. So I'm encouraging you to have these conversations. What does marriage mean to you? What are the expectations? What does it look like to you? And like, why are you getting married? What's actually going to be different? Like, have these conversations, have these talks before you sign anything, before you go down that aisle. A lot of us get so excited and wrapped up in the actual planning of the day because, it's supposed to be the biggest day of your life. When really we spend a whole lot of fucking money, attention, and everything onto a wedding day, one fucking given day, when really it's all of the days after that count. Like, you're spending, that's a whole other topic. I did not do that. I could not justify spending all of this money to present myself in front of a bunch of people. For what? Because at the end of the day, I can't cash that shit back in. I would rather you invest it in a diamond, in a ring, I'd rather look at that every day and go, oh my God, look at my husband, future person, whatever. I have this huge ring and I got married in a backyard, rather than put $20,000 out to impress people. For what? What am I getting out of that? Can I cash that back in? Can I get something out of it? Am I going to remember that day for the rest of my life? No. Most brides don't even remember their wedding day because they're so stressed out. So why spend all that cash for nothing? And anyways, let's not even get into the fact that everything gets overcharged because it's a wedding day, a special day, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, before you even get there, have these conversations. What does it look like to you? What will be different? What's your perception of marriage? Have these conversations. That's what I urge you to do. Best of luck.